Hey guys, and welcome to another video. This one is a little bit different. We're not going to be slaving around in the outdoors today or doing such things. Today we thought we'll talk about the weather a little bit, as we do in Sweden.
A very valid point to have.
Now, we decided to make this video because there's a lot of foreigners moving up to Skellefteå, especially to come work at places like Northvolt, and there's a lot of growth in this region taking place. And we heard a story the other day about a couple that actually moved here fairly recently in summer, and they ended up not having any like nice cool summer clothes. They just had like big jackets and stuff because everyone told them Sweden's so cold, especially the north, you're gonna die, and it's just snowy and bad stuff. Also, when we looked at the weather here, when we researched the weather in Skellefteå, we actually we found a lot of differences on different websites. So a lot of times when you look at these websites with the weather data, you get weather averages, and the problem with averages is that they often hide more than they actually reveal. They don't really cater for extreme weather fluctuations, and it doesn't really mean much if you report it like that. For example, this one extract we have says the weather in November, it's the last month of autumn in Storbrännen. It is also a sub-zero cold month with temperature in the range of an average high of minus or negative 0.3 degrees Celsius. And we're going to be using Celsius in this video if anyone's interested. So this is our experiences here. We've been here for almost a year now. We took some notes here. So what we're going to do is we'll take you through some of the weather as we've experienced it. So we've been collecting weather data for basically a year now from our personal weather station. And it's actually been fun going through the data and just like checking what's going on there. So we got here in late September, and which I think is the very first month of autumn. And the weather was really good. Now I run a little bit hot, so you know, but yeah, like you had to wear a jacket and stuff. And it's now, as we're recording this is September. This is a long sleeve t-shirt. It's really nothing else.
Yeah, and you can go outside in this.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
It's a little nippy, but you're not dying of the cold outside.
Yeah, but the nights can get pretty cool. So in October, let's start October. What we used to wear then, looking back at old videos, we used to wear like t-shirts, jackets, and or hoodies. And towards the middle of October, we experienced our first snow.
Yeah, and at the time I remember them saying it was a little bit of a freak snow. It was a little earlier than usual, and we were like, "Hey, snow's here! We're gonna set in. It's snow time." And yeah, it's when the weather really plummeted, and that's when it really got like cold. Started getting cold.
Yeah, it got like obviously a lot colder, like towards mid to end October, moving into November. Especially early November, the streams on the farm weren't really like frozen, if that means anything to you. There wasn't that much snow going on. Again, looking back at the videos, you know, you could clearly see the ground where we were walking around outside, driving the ATV, all that stuff, you know, light snow. Mid-November, yeah, that's in my mind when it really started turning, it was... when we started seeing a little bit of aurora, it started getting colder. We had to start wearing heavier jackets, thicker gloves.
Yeah.
So the temps at the very beginning of November, I wrote down here, were around 5 to 7 degrees Celsius. Around the 10th, some days dropped to around minus 10. And then temperature fluctuations between minus 10 and a max of just above freezing, like around 1 to 3 degrees Celsius were expected. And then the last 10 days of November, like we said, really, really cold, with some days having a maximum of minus 12 and a low of minus 18. So
December, it's always been my favorite month of the year. I'm a real Christmas baby, and I loved December. the weather it's freezing cold in December. It's probably one of the coldest months of the year, but there's something magical about December here in Sweden. Although it's cold, really, really cold, you've got temperatures, I think the max of -17 and a low of, we saw up to what, -28, -29?
Yeah, I think I wrote down here, I think our coldest day. So the coldest day that we've had of 2021 was on the 6th of December, which was -28.8.
Yeah. So that's pretty cold. That's pretty freezing. You tend to stay indoors on those days. So
our other, like El Cheapo weather station, actually at one stage it showed -31.8 degrees.
yeah, you can't imagine that kind of cold until you're actually in it. You'll see if you look at the videos. That's often the videos where Venant's working outside and he's got icicles in his beard. It's those ones. That's roughly that time of the year. But in saying that, as cold as it is, it offers so much peace. You don't know how to describe it. It's so quiet, and you walk out and you get this hit of cold air, but absolute still. No birds, no ruffling of the trees, really. It's just dead quiet. And you look up at the stars, and on a clear night it's just all these stars. And then often in December, Jan, Feb, you see the aurora a lot more frequently. And you've got these really, really, really long nights. So I think December, what time did the sun go down in December? I think the sun would go down at around...
I'm trying to see if I made a note of it.
Yeah, I think the sun used to go down around 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And it would only come up the following day like 9 or 10 in the morning. So you had these really, really long, very quiet, cold nights. But the sky and the silence was beautiful. Yeah. And the snow. Let's not forget how beautifully white it was.
Yeah. And also around the middle of December, there were actually some really, really nice days. Which were around -3 and +3. Then the last days of December, we usually hover around -23, -17 here and there. You have a nicer day of -3. And on Christmas, it was between -16 and -8 degrees Celsius. Moving along to January, snow again. Very cold.
Yeah, very cold. It's almost more cold even than December.
Yeah, it's the coldest. Well, everyone says it's the coldest month. Like Jan, Feb, around there.
Yeah.
And that's the heart of winter. It's really cold.
I could understand how people might get a little bit depressed in January because it's cold. So in December we also have the longest night of the year, and that is on December the 21st, and that will be the sun rises around 9 a.m. and the sunset will be just before 2 p.m. So that's a pretty long night.
Short day. Also in January, it's Daniela's birthday, of course, and on her birthday, which is early in January, it was the coldest day of 2022 that we've recorded.
Yeah.
With -26.4.
That day was pumping. You can imagine in -26.4 weather.
Everyone's
town
out.
is really pumping. Everyone's out. Please note my extreme sarcasm. It was 4 o'clock. I'm ready to party. It's my birthday.
Friday afternoon. At a pub in the big city.
Big city. It was dead quiet. I think we were there was maybe us and like 2 old ladies in the pub.
Yeah.
That's it. So that was fun. Quiet. Well, if I was looking for a quiet night out, I got it.
Fun. So moving along to February. Still very cold. Still around -20, and sometimes we got just below +1 degree Celsius.
Yeah.
So you like really think, yeah, we're over this.
You're not.
You're not.
Yeah. However, I did notice in February though, it started to snow a little bit more, a little more frequently. It started to snow. So when it's super, super freezing cold, I mean, it still snows, but it's almost a bit more still. It seems to snow when it's a little bit warmer. That's when you can expect it to really start coming down. In the very, very cold months, you get a lot of snow, but you've got a lot more ice and frost and things like that to contend with than snow as such. But February, you start contending more with the snow.
Then comes March, the first month of spring, allegedly.
So that's it.
So we wore light jackets. The snow started melting. Mid-March, it was really nice. It was like between -11 and +10.
Which is like a summer day here, by the way. It's just, you're like,
Yeah,
it's nice and warm now. We can go. It's time to party.
Exactly. When you get out of like that winter, then like -10 to 10 around there is actually like quite nice weather, and you actually enjoy it.
Everyone jokes. They actually call it like beach weather. You know, that's a lot of the times. Like one of my neighbors, he was outside in a t-shirt, busy doing something on his house. Even, you know, it's just like you still thinking, Jesus, still cold. But yeah, you acclimatize, I guess.
Right. So in April, the snow was almost gone. We actually started out. We started clearing out our deck area, took out the patio set, set up the barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, there was here and there were bigger snow piles that weren't gone yet. You know, but we would just like stick our drinks in it to keep it like cool and.
Yeah, that's like. I found that time of the year with that snow really useful.
Yeah, it's the best.
You don't need like ice cubes or cooler boxes. You go out, you light your fire, you put all your drinks in the ice.
Yeah.
It's great, really handy.
And it's actually warm. You end up like wanting to go sit in the snow to cool down.
Yeah.
You know.
There were actually days during that stretch where I was busy preparing for the greenhouse, and I was shoveling some snow out the way, trying to make space for the greenhouse area to thaw. And often, by that stage, you're in a short sleeve shirt. It's warm, but the snow's not melted, so you just lie back on the snow and you just enjoy it. There's no bugs out yet. Everything's still relatively quiet. So it's probably one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. And then the temperatures we had were around -4 to +18.7.
Yeah, that drastic.
So really, really, really nice weather. But April comes with a but.
A big but. Big but.
So it's also the worst snow that we've ever experienced.
Yeah.
We were out doing deliveries and everything looked like really great for a few days, and then like on this one day that we were supposed to go do deliveries, it was a little bit overcast, and man, it started snowing, and it was I don't know, a meter of snow in like a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it was ridiculous. I mean, cars were all just like locked in the city, and you know, people walking through snow like this, trying to get to the cars to go pull them out. And
but it was a snowstorm that we were caught in. They even said it was one of the worst snowstorms they had seen in quite a while. But
really,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, they actually said that, and it was extremely windy. Like you would have blown right out of your car, no problem.
Yes.
You saw these old women, even in the snow in town, then we saw a woman walking her dog. She had a tiny little dog, and it was proper snow. And I was waiting for the snow, this dog to take off, because as I opened the door, we were stuck. We got stuck so many times in that heavy, and I mean, in town normally they clear up the snow, and it's, you know, they keep it neat for you to drive in town. The snow they could not keep up with, and everyone was getting stuck, and the wind was just howling, and this woman and her dog, as I opened my door almost flew backwards. It was so windy, and this woman's walking, and this little dog's just like, I think it was hanging on for dear life, because it's like this big, a wind would have just taken it.
Yeah, and also like pretty annoying, because it's more ice than snow by the time the wind has taken it, and it's vertical and in your eyes the whole time.
Horrible.
And, yeah, but awesome. Still April, some of my favorite times that I had here, weather-wise.
Yeah, you know, discarding that, I think April was nice weather if you discount the freak snowstorms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So April will fool you.
Yep, it will fool you.
Right, so moving along to May, and then snow's basically gone. You can wear like a light jacket, shorts, if that's your thing, that's fine. You know, again, I run a bit cooler, I enjoy the cold, you know, your mileage may vary. And you have very acceptable negative temperatures still, but it's only around -3, -4. In May, there's a lot of acceptable weather. It's really like possibly my favorite time of the year, just because like I said, all the snow is basically gone, but you have some really lower good temperatures, like positive 17, and I think it only gets about -3 cold now and then, but it's a really nice time of the year.
Yeah.
And it's a stunning time of the year to see everything come alive.
Yeah, that's when everything starts to bloom, and all the colors of Sweden actually start to burst. And that is also when the lakes and the rivers and things like that start thawing and showing, because when we got here, we came sort of just before winter, so we never really got to see all that beauty of spring and summer here. We saw the autumn beauty, which is it's a thing of its own, but
yeah, the colors. Wow.
Yeah, the colors of autumn in this place are just amazing. So we saw that side, but in May we started to see the other side, and then you also realize just how much water is around you, because in winter everything freezes over, all you see is snow.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you start seeing these beautiful lakes and rivers, and it's just something to behold. It looks like a screensaver on your computer.
The Windows XP background.
Yeah. Fun.
Right, so then moving over to June, which is the first month of summer. It's really hot. You're not going to want to wear anything other than like a t-shirt and like shorts. If you're a girl, maybe something else. If you're a guy, also a dress. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do your thing. But really great. No more negative temperatures. Maybe just below freezing sometimes, but the highs of around 21 degrees Celsius. Fantastic.
Also, at this stage, between April, May, June, you have much longer days.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this stage, it feels like the sun doesn't set. In fact, I don't think it does set at all. It certainly doesn't feel like it. Get yourself some blackout blinds, because you are going to need them. You know, the weather may say the sun is going to set. It doesn't. It stays up all the time.
There was a question on one of the groups on how people who live here regulate, their rhythms, circadian rhythms, or what do they call it? Just regulate the natural rhythm, you know, with all the weird sunlight and such things going on. what we did is, like Daniela said, we got blackout blinds, and we would close them at a certain time. You know, like 6 o'clock is nighttime. All the blinds go down, and then in winter, again, certain time of the day, the lights go on. You know, and we regulate it with light. Like we give or take away.
You kind of need to, because it can, you know. I went into summer going, oh, it's so cool to have light all the time, and eventually you're like, okay, I could do with some nighttime now. So yeah, try and do that. I think it's a good idea, because often it's like 10 o'clock at night and you still partying like it's 4 p.m. You know, it doesn't feel like it's 10 o'clock at all.
So in November, we also had our hottest day of the year, with an astounding 30.7 degrees. So I know people in South Africa are like, really
so hot, huh?
So hot, eh? But if you've been in really cool temperatures, and even like you would say, oh, but you guys are acclimatized right now, and sure, I guess so. But if you've been through such like cold temperatures, you know, like 30 degrees Celsius is really, really hot.
Yeah, so in July it's really, really hot, and you need to open windows and things to get a bit of air and cool down and stuff. But you will need bug screens. You know, there's lots of mosquitoes.
So
wasps,
many,
all sorts.
so many mosquitoes.
Yeah, and the wasps, and you get these like weird fly things. They what are they called, broms or something like that. They actually like bite you. So yeah, you will definitely need bug screens if you plan on opening your windows, unless you want to be eaten alive. So that's definitely, for me, it was probably the heat. The heat was hectic in this time of the month, but I think June, July, the hardest part of being here was probably all the bugs. So many bugs. You don't go out in winter because it's too cold, and then in summer there's just like an infinite amount of bugs chasing your ass. So just bear that in mind and buy good bug spray, stuff like that. You will want it.
And again, it's like where we live, and it might be different where you are. That's just how it is.
Yeah. This is just our experience.
Then comes July. July, it's really still warm. Temperatures are around 5 to 20 degrees Celsius. At some days peak around 25 degrees Celsius. Very nice time of the year. Again, whatever comes with that. August, almost the same as July temps. But late August, it comes a little bit cooler, a little bit earlier in the mornings and late at night. And but still, for me and probably for most people, very much t-shirt weather.
Yeah, and but your nights get a little more. Your nights are a little more chilly, so you'd still cruise around the day in a t-shirt or something. But nighttime, you'll probably want to wear a decent sweater or something, because you start reaching some minus temperatures, I guess.
Yeah.
August, yeah.
Yeah. Right, guys. So that's the weather, and for those of you who made it this far. Sorry that you didn't have anything else to do tonight.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sure she'll call back.
Let us guide you through this seasonal change.
Yeah, also we're going to try to record a little bit more indoors stuff like this, especially over winter. We'll still be doing some work, lots of work to be done around the farm.
Never stops.
But we're also going to be trying to spend a little bit more time indoors this winter.
Yeah, and for all those we've had quite a couple of requests to do just an update on sort of where we're at after the first year of being here. So we do expect to do that video sometime soon, just to update everybody on sort of our experiences, you know, the good, the bad and the ugly, whatever. Just give a rundown of sort of how our first year was here, and especially I think it's going to be quite useful for expats who do intend to come to Sweden. So yeah, you can expect that to come, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for tuning in.